Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Friday, another weekend upon us. After this weekend, we'll be exactly halfway through the year. Crazy, 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 crazy stuff. Let's start off with this long to short ratio. Now, like I was just saying before I started my recording, these swings are nothing, really nothing to be snidey about. Like in the last week, we've gone from like 60% long down to 66% short, and then we're back over more longs in the market. I mean, these swings are absolutely mental. And if you pair these longs from the last day, so about 24 hours ago we were 60% short, and now we're 52% long. And then you go to the liquidations and you look and you see that 1 billion longs have been wrecked. It's just no surprise. Like we're probably gonna go down and see a little like lower, unless that can flip. But it was actually looking really promising on Tuesday when we were looking at the price action, and we had 66% short, and we were kind of up at the highs. Even though we were shorting, we were like, okay, there's a good chance that we can hold 105k. But we've just literally cleared all of that, and yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, we cleared all this liquidity even at 104. We've actually made a significant low. Locally, the liquidity will be at. I mean, there's not really that much, is there? If we go to the month, I mean, the month's really not going to help us too much, actually. We do have some high leverage stuff at 111.5 ish. Sorry, not high leverage, a nice little hotspot. Um, so yeah, watch out. If we do get back up to 111, 111.5, it's potentially an area to fail. Even though we will have made a new high, if we do clear 111.5 and then close underneath like 110.5, it's really really wrecked. But right now we're making lower lows and lower highs, and everyone should be short, to be honest, from Tuesday. I mean, every single mentor this week has been saying short like 110, 19, 110. So even if you shorted a little bit early, you should be hopefully on side. So yeah, just a little hotspot at 111.5. Not really too much to the downside, so we might start building a little bit out. But yeah, in terms of the order book, we've got some. This is really not that much Bitcoin at all. The bigger orders are more like 200 plus, but we do have 200, actually 300, about 105.5, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that's about it for this sort of data. And now I will switch us on to the charts. Let me know if you're in any trades or if you're looking at any trades, and put the time frame on as well, and we'll just have a nice big look. Let me switch my Discord screen as well. Right, cool. Let me close Chrome as well, just so it doesn't eat my CPU because I'm on a laptop. So yeah, Bitcoin. Like I was saying, we're short. I'm actually short from 109.5, so a little bit lower. But you had two really good opportunities to get short on Wednesday, and then even like Tuesday. I think I shorted like here or something, so I nearly got stopped out. But I am fine on my short. Um, yeah, I mean you can just see very clearly that it was quite a good area to potentially hedge a short. Also, we had this 4 hour resistance zone, bang in there, perfect. It was actually looking good because we were majority short, so there was more probability that we were going to hold sort of the weekly or even June. But we kind of just blasted through that, and made a new low off here, which was 105.5, which I was kind of looking to potentially hold and bid. But yeah, we've made a new low, and we really need to gain back this weekly and daily open now, for any chance of going to test the highs. And even if we do test the highs and make a new low, it potentially could result in going to test sort of like the low 100s. But yeah, we're just kind of farming out some structure right now. This is obviously the high of the range. This is obviously the low of the range. So potentially looking for a bounce long. We maybe have kind of missed it so far. Um, but yeah, we'll have to see. If you didn't catch it at like 104, 1, 2 after this bull div, this is probably in the band as well. Yeah, kind of. If you didn't catch it there, then I wouldn't really be looking to catch it now unless you're like scalping on the 5 minute or some shit and you want to like just do a little something like that. But yeah, we really need to gain back this swing now and this weekly open for any chance of continuing the upside. If not, it's just we're just gonna keep going down. But watch the long to short ratio, especially as we're coming up now. If we start seeing some shorts coming in, it might start to look a bit better. But the swings are absolutely crazy at the moment. Really, really a lot, like really, really high swings. And yeah, the daily just looks a little bit indecisive as of right now. We obviously have the new low. We kind of made a new high off there, so yeah, it's just looking a bit indecisive at the moment. And yeah, it's we need to regain that anyway. I've already talked about that, so cool. Um, ETH Bitcoin, we hit resistance again. Um, it actually doesn't look that bad though. This is obviously always going to be resistance, and yeah, we're still making new highs and we're still holding this low here, so that actually looks not too bad. Even though alts have dumped really badly, ETH Bitcoin's still holding, so potentially a rotation on the cards. Again, ETH, actually, that's a really bad chart. You know what? I need to just. Again, ETH also held up from the weekly open. This is probably the Stuba as well. Yeah, perfect. That's really, really nice. Got a touch on the 886 and closed above the 786, currently getting the bounce back up. So I don't know, that actually looks kind of better than Bitcoin because we actually held this low here, which was quite important. So not too bad actually on altcoins. Some altcoins are looking good, some are looking really really bad, and we'll talk about, for example, like Tia's looking absolutely rinsed. So yeah, um, if anyone caught any longs here, I mean I obviously wasn't on the charts, but GG's, and you're probably looking to take profit. But yeah, still tentatively looking at a local downtrend, especially if we can't like regain some stuff. And even if we do come up to here, it's definitely a level to short, especially hedge. But yeah, I'm looking for a long. I'm actually looking for a long because then if we do come up, then I can hedge it off with a nice short and just play both sides. Same with Bitcoin. So yeah, nice, nice, nice. Um, Popcat's made a new low, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but that I know I was talking about shorting this last week. Well, sorry, on Tuesday, and then we just got stopped out. But it would have been a really, this would have been such a good trade if it did play out like it was meant to. On the 4 hour, we actually just got wicked out, literally on this candle, and it dumped like 30%, bro. Anyway, the game is the game, and we made a new low now. Potentially on the lower time frames, you could maybe scalp this out. Let me see if we can. Yeah, not really anything at the moment actually on that. The same thing actually happened with Bohm, which we were trying to get in a short, literally around this level. Oh, some lag. Yeah, we were trying to get in a short at this level, and I literally just got waked out. It literally went to one. It literally went to 207, and my stop was like 206. So that also would have been a really nice short, but it's the game's the game. The game is definitely the game. Anyway, looks a little bit rough on some of them actually. H bar again, that 4 hour candle was my signal to absolutely just get out of that long. We did not hold. I didn't really expect it to, just because Bitcoin was looking so bad, but just on the technicals alone, it was not looking that bad. But I only lost like 1%, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And yeah, the short's doing really well on Bitcoin, so I'm pretty much covered, and I'm looking tentatively the other way. Um, yeah, hype also made a new low. I kind of bull dived in the combination band, but yeah, I'm not really expecting this to do too much. Maybe like a rejection of the daily open here, and then if we hold there, it might even come up to here, so you could short it. But I think this could be a really good short around. If you do see hype coming up to 43, let's call it 42.4, potentially a really good area to maybe catch a short now on that. But yeah, I am still long on hype from like 32, 33 from them buys, because we still are making high highs and high lows. Just very locally, we've broken down on the 4 hour. As you can see, we did this bearish retest right there, wick, failure, new low, and then yeah. So anything up here is just you're ready to short it back down all the way to 35 or something. But yeah, nothing really to panic about, but it definitely does have the potential to get ugly. But yeah, what else were we talking about yesterday? I can't really remember too much. Oh, yeah, we were talking about dot. I was talking about this level that I literally just long this level like blindly about 1, 2, maybe 3 times, and it's done me well every single time. So if anyone caught any of that, I didn't. I didn't have a bid, but a bid at 3.65 would have been literally perfect, and you're probably up like 5% already, looking at maybe just a 10% bounce on that. But I actually didn't have any orders. I probably should have, because I was talking about that at the start of this week. Very clearly failed on these two 4 hour candles here. 4 hours just king, isn't it? But yeah, in terms of longs, we'll have a look. We'll definitely have a look. And by the way, these longs are only bounce longs, because the market is looking like it's sort of starting to be in a mini downtrend. I see Will has 1015-ish low structure for potential bounce. Yeah, Will's back. He's been a little bit busy with work and stuff like that and life, but now the PA is getting a little bit more interesting. I think he's back. I'm long on hype at 39. Yeah, I did try to long hype actually. Oh yeah, we were talking about longing this. So we were talking about longing this sort of like 38, 39 to 38.5, but I definitely got stopped out on that at like 38.4. I didn't really want to risk too much on this just because it was looking a little bit bad and it was only going to be a bounce play anyway, so I'm actually not in that. And this is still in a downtrend unless we can like this is just probably going to make a new low down to here. I'd say that. So just make sure you're taking profit on that one. Still quite a strong coin. It's kind of just retested this high from the end of May, 38.7. So not the worst, but yeah, in the very local stuff, we are starting a little bit of a slide. I still think that this is going to go higher though, which is why I'm still 3x long. I'm just long. Hype is just long that shit. Same with Fartcoin though. This got caught perfectly on June. This is actually looking really good. I think I was talking that if you miss this, you'd want to bid this between June and the weekly open. So did anyone get any of that? Hold on. Interesting. This was also to be expected, though. I'm pretty sure this right here was the Coinbase listing. They listed it on spot. So in the short term, everything always fucking dumps its tits off from Coinbase listing. But I think in the sort of like after a couple of weeks, it's gonna get really rampy on Farcoin. So I'm still accumulating. We definitely want to hold that Q4 weekly open definitely as well. I think we could just see possibly like maybe up here and then maybe another low. We'll get into some of this stuff and then I don't know. But yeah, let's target his daily open. Nice, perfect. I just got in 10 minutes ago into Fartcoin. Nice. Whereabouts? Let's have a look. Yeah, so you're probably on this candle. What's the risk? You're probably underneath June. I mean, just you're risking a little bit. Hopefully you're only on 3x. 10 minutes ago, yeah, you're just a little bit late to this, unfortunately. You had a really, really good opportunity. If you're looking at what I usually look at, which is one wick, especially on the lower time frames, two with a W reversal on overlapping support, then you had a really good opportunity about an hour, 2 hours ago, up 7%. But if you're in 10 minutes ago, you're a little bit late to the party, unfortunately. Delete, delete, delete. Anyway, I'm just looking at short-term bounces, really. I've kind of missed it because I've been out. I'm obviously on holiday. But something like that would have been quite interesting just to take it up to here. And then even like this is potentially good for shorting. And then you could take profit here. This is the midpoint, this is the inflection. So if you're long from down here, take profit there. If you're short from up here, take profit there. Bang, and just leave the rest. Just leave the rest and chill. But yeah, I will be accumulating Fartcoin in between like $1. It's fine for me. I can't remember my entry prices, but it's probably like 9.6. Yeah, 9.6 or something. After trying to get into this coin ever since like 30, I remember it was like down here. It was literally in this zone. I was like, okay. I'm waiting for 30 cent, 30 cent. We're gonna bid 30 cent, guys. Everyone, 30 cents. And then it just went, psh, and then we're like, okay. We're gonna bid 60 cents. We're gonna bid 60 cents, and then it just went, shh. And we're like, okay. And then we just didn't bid it up here. And then finally got a little bit down there. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long, long time coming. But yeah, something that's looking giga wrecked, which is what I was talking about yesterday, is that if we don't gain June or even this swing, Tia is going to make a new low, and yes, it has. This thing is fucking really annoying, and it just looks really wrecked, doesn't it? Oh, that is the buy bit chart. Let's go to the night chart. Oh, it's pretty much the same. It's just really wrecked. If it was to gain that, if it did gain that level back, I would probably be looking at it in terms of this being the deviation and this being the regain, but we did not get that, unfortunately. And yeah, now it's like just giga wrecked. It's just going to go down more. So potentially, you could definitely look for shorts on this weekly open. And if you get back up to here again, which you probably won't because it's already been tested, you can also short that. But yeah, definitely short that weekly open on tier. Short the shit out of it. Not financial advice, of course, because this is going on YouTube after. Yeah, so a lot of like alts potentially had the potential to hold their lows. So one example was, let's actually just get a new chart on this. What's this Binance? Let's go to Bybit. So one example was Render, which we had obviously a new low. Then we made a new high. So the way that this was going to be invalidated as a low is if we held this level here, or this, more importantly, this low right there. We did not. So as soon as we broke down here, you're basically looking to short the retest of this level, and you got two chances there. If I go to 1 hour, it's a lot easier to see. So hold this low when we're coming down here to potentially long. We kind of did start doing it, but then broke down. This is like the slide, and then that's the bearish retest that you could short, and then yeah, bang, straight down. Straight down into Valhalla. But then again, like, you've got some things like ETH that haven't made a new low yet. So what's even Sol? Sol's actually didn't close underneath there, but that is looking slightly rough. I mean, it's bang on the 886, isn't it? If I just take this off. Literally bang on. Did make a new low from here. So potentially you're looking to like long this area and then short anything up here. So you could have two positions on that. Especially if that's coming down pretty fucking hard, isn't it? Yeah. To be honest, maybe here is the good inflection point. If you gain that back, so like 151, 152, then it starts looking good. But until then, you're looking to short that, unfortunately. But it doesn't, I mean, just barely held its low. It literally did hold its low, actually. Especially in the Stuber pocket, so... Let's see if you count the wick. Looking a bit indecisive there, XRP kind of did something similar to Solana. What are we on Bybit? Let's go to Binance. Where it made a new high, and we were kind of looking to hold this swing here. That also happens to be the June level. But yeah, we slid a bit down. We're still a bit lower. You got the Q2 and the yearly down there, actually. And potentially... Oh, I didn't know I could do something F. Also just got caught on the pocket as well, so... Some things are not looking that bad, but some things are looking super wrecked. Kind of just have to find out what's looking better. And things that have held like this, so this and ETH and possibly Solana, if you just go slightly lower time frame and say you get like a retest and hold, you could potentially long that with a stop, and then for a test higher, and then short higher, and then just, you know, TP half, leave it, and then just fucking, yeah. Hopefully you get a little runner. Ten 1095. Jack, can you please explain once again how I could have got a entry at the bottom using the indicators? So it depends when you were looking at the chart, but let's look at Farcoin for an example. And we'll actually have no indicators on this. So okay, let's do it very simply. We've got a 4-hour low here, which was retested on the 4-hour here. So this is kind of what you're looking to hold, potentially, to come down to. We didn't actually really get there, but okay, it's fine. If you're looking at this on the indicators, you also have some highs, kind of around there. It's a little bit easier to see on the 1 hour, but potentially like a zone. If you draw like a box around here, just there, which is kind of where we kind of like took off from, especially when we did this, and then the break. And then if you turn the indicators on, we also have the June level. That's literally the June level that I just drew on. So um, if you're looking at longing this and you go to the lower time frames, you'll see that we did a bounce off the June level and actually did a lower low that bull dived as well. So the bull div was kind of your chance to go in, especially if you're looking at this on the 5 minute. You have a lot of overlapping uh, support. So the way I like to use combination bands is if you get one bounce on a major level and overlapping supply, and then you get a second one that either bull divs or just you get like a oversold or overbought area on the oscillator. And what you could do is you could just potentially long this area. I mean, you could even go slightly lower. So June or the overlapping supply, which would be like, yeah, 1.5%, which is perfect risk actually. And then bang, straight into the next combination band. R reversal, W reversal. I mean, you could have also waited for this. Usually a back test a little bit lower, but it didn't actually that time. Even if you're not looking at it with the combination bands, you did get two really nice touches on the overlapping demand, especially as you're bull diving as well on the oscillator down here. So something like this is like, the reason why it's nice is because, yeah, you potentially you closed a short 5 minute candle below the June open, but the range of this overlapping supply is only 1%, so your risk is really not that bad. You can bid that level with even like a 1% stop, and your reward is like 7-8%. So your risk to reward is like 7-8 to 1, which is double what you should usually go for. You should usually be looking for at least 4 to 1. But also, if we turn Scout Pro on, yeah, you'll see that we literally got the reversion bang on the oversold area as well. So let me just hover over this. Oh, I hate when it does this. They fixed Scout Pro, but they also didn't fix it at the same time, because that is... Is there a way I can bring this to the front? Visual order, bring to the front. There we go. Excuse me, sir. There we go. Reversion, Bollinger Band, Bull Bear, that's not really that good. To be honest, those ones aren't. Momentum Oscillator's not that bad. Chande, you don't really see Chande that much. But yeah, you could even wait for that to print. Literally this one. So 1, 2, W reversal in the band, overlapping supply. Wait for that to print and then just long here with a stop below here. Then again, you do have to be careful because you didn't really quite get it there, but you nearly got it here. You actually did get it there, and then it did one more on the overlapping supply. So that's why supply and demand is actually quite imperative if you're on the lower time frames for this. Yeah, lower time frames with the combination bands and stuff like that, you can always get like 1-2% bounces and then it'll just keep going because the trend is always going to be more strong than the reversion. So you could get like you can literally see on the way down you got like how many? You didn't get any here because you weren't oversold on the oscillator, but no, because you went down there. I guess this was the first one. this one, and this one was actually a little bit worse. So sometimes you could just get a little bit of a slide, and then you get the first wick into the band where it goes straight, overlapping support, and then the second one's where you want to get in. But we could actually have a look on some other things just to see how well it worked. What's everyone's favorite coin? Let's do like, should we look at render? Mm. This one actually really nearly hit perfectly because you made a new high and then retested the low. So this is not a perfect setup. I actually probably wouldn't have taken this if I was holding, but the general premise is like, okay, you got the low here, you made a new high. From the low, you pull the fib. Your zone is literally in the combination band. So if this went like a tiny bit lower there, it would have been perfect, but it didn't. So I'm sure there would have been other ones that lined up literally perfectly. But that Filecoin one was pretty decent, wasn't it? Maybe Doge? I don't really know why I have that line on, but it must be something quite important. We'll go to... I'm pretty sure I don't have anything on OKX. Let's have a look at the 5 minute. Yeah, again, nearly went low enough, but didn't quite. And this is like super low time frame, so that high would technically be a higher one than that. You're just very close to it. I probably wouldn't have bid that. I probably would have been waiting for something like that, like the perfect entry. But then again, you did actually kind of get something here with all these wicks into the band and the reversion. What even was that? 3%. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not good. So, yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at some alts on the slightly higher time frames. So, let's just turn Scout Pro off, and we'll turn bands off as well. So yeah, if that does come back in, Doge, we'll actually turn. So we know there's a supply zone there where we wicked in. If that comes back in there, oof, could potentially long that, especially as this 4-hour oscillator is getting super oversold. You want to see a hold of the AA6 now. But yeah, again, these are only bounce trades. We have kind of made new lows on quite a lot of things. That's actually... there's too much on this chart. Let's go to Nance. So Sui actually looks kind of interesting. However, we have made a new low from here, so potentially if you're looking at this, low, new high from here, failure, if you didn't short that, fine. Long the pocket, what do we need to gain back to gain the upside is this swing. This also happens to be the weekly open in June. Potentially you could hedge your long off here, and then if you make a new low, then fine, you get stopped out on your long, and you got your short. If you gain, you got your long and your short stopped out, and then you can re-long there or like short here. There's just many, many different scenarios from here that could happen. Sui seems to have some decent swinging price action though, because what was this? 16 percentiles. Yeah. Which signals are stronger, the ones from Wave Master or Trend Master? What specifically do you mean by that? Wave Master is pretty strong, but you can only really pair it with price action because it's just a momentum oscillator. So you can't really take trades just on the oscillator alone. I mean, you can, but you kind of need a price action to go with it. In terms of Trendmaster, what in Trendmaster are you specifically talking about? Because Trendmaster has so many different things that you can use. I obviously only use it for reversals of the bands because I have a specific strategy that goes with it. But I mean, there's actually just a lot you can do with this. That's why I pair the two together. I would say the oscillator's probably stronger because the Trendmaster can have more errors. I mean, every time, for example, on the oscillator, you get overbought or oversold, it does tend to bounce either way. So, for example, like here you got a tiny one. Here you got a tiny one. Here you actually got quite a big one. So yeah, I'd say Wave Master's pretty strong. But everyone probably uses this one, which is just as good. Oh, what's happening? Hello, internet. Please, sir. Oh shit, what's going on? What have I done? Ah, it's a bit bugs. It's a bit bugs, it's a bit bugs. So, yeah, maybe we should do some lower time frame stuff today. I do like, Sui does interest me quite a lot actually, just from looking at it, because we've held this low, yes, we made a new one, but if you could catch any sort of long down here, and then hedge it off in here, I think you would be well positioned for either side. Because then, if you break through here, you have a long that kind of covers your stop, and then you could also re-short the top as well, which would probably come down to the midpoint and then hold, where you can take profit on your short. And then if you come and break down, then your short, your long gets stopped out, you do taking profit, and you got your short. So, does that make sense? But we've kind of already missed it, to be honest, because the initial bounce was here, but you're not really looking to long the falling knife, but then you got the retest right here. So potentially that was it. And now you might chug up to here if you're lucky. But it's just like where do you enter? There isn't really a great spot. There's not really a good spot on this actually. Oh, he's messaging me. Yeah, that was the spot. What time was this? About an hour and a half before I started my stream. Yeah, I was out and about. You just created overlapping support as well. Overlapping support is really powerful, by the way, guys. Very, 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 very powerful. Even if you don't get the combination, man, sometimes you can just do some fun stuff with it. Anyway, boy, that looks wrecked, doesn't it? So yeah, this has made a new low, so this is actually something that you could definitely short. Again, from this low, we actually made a new high. So to effectively change this trend, you actually just needed to hold here, basically this low. Basically anywhere in between here, if you put in a higher low, then you're literally good to start trending up, but that really just didn't happen. So now we have a new low. You could potentially, I don't know if we're going to see that high again, but the 618 comes in around, oh, fuck off, comes in around the Q2, and then that's the failure that led you to the low. Bang. Literally right there. You can literally just see it. So this is where we were trying to hold. We broke, bearish retest, led us to the low. So now, that's good to short. If you gain that back, then okay, we could be invalidating the downside. Sometimes you also got to just turn off the auto charting tools and be like, okay, that was the fit. Oh, fuck off. This was the failure. That's the inflection. We'll try catch something lower time frame here, take it up to here, take the trade off, maybe hedge it short. If we gain it, okay, fine, bang. You also got another chance to short all the way up here at the golden stubes. Very nuanced. But that looks pretty fucking wrecked. I think things that have held their low is kind of what you want to pay more attention to. So whatever did low, and then you pull the fib on. So for example, Sol, ETH, Injected also did it. They closed the 4 hour candle above the AA6 from the low on 6th of June. I think it will depend on what time, where you are in the world, but for me it's 6th of June. Yeah, 6th of June or the 5th or something, whatever. This is probably what you want to try and catch a low time frame long on, and then you could hedge it off once we get up to like the daily open or June in here. That actually, yeah. Yeah, we would have been such good longs on Tuesday if we didn't get stopped out of Popcat and Bohm. What's actually Pepe doing? Again, it looks a little bit rough. Anyway, let me check chat. Okay, it's all good. Um, yeah. Anything in particular anyone wants me to look at, or yeah, what? So basically, the general gist is, I'll give you a general sort of like game plan. You have the low from the 6th or the 5th, wherever you are. You have the high. Turn off all your indicators, pull your fib. Anything that closed its 4 hour candle hasn't closed below its AA6 is looking stronger than every other altcoin. Um, Low time frame, you could try to look for a little long, maybe on the hourly or the 15-minute or something like that. Turn on auto charting tools. Potentially, the inflection point is going to be sort of like the weekly open to June or whatever bearish retest you did of the low, sort of like 9th of June, around here basically. This barely even bearish retest, so this is going to come up and retest here. Potentially, you could look for a short then to hedge it off. If you gain that, then okay, you could maybe long it on the regain, but yeah, even so, you could even just short it higher. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of trying to control your risk in this area. So for example, like longing here as your stop below the low. Yeah, it's not too bad. 2%. But the best things I've seen are like, okay, Pepe, Sol, ETH. Not that chart though. ETH actually didn't even really lose its low, but it's looking a bit rough at the moment. Kind of just been caught. I wonder what this looks like on the lower time frame. Bit rough, bit rough, bit rough. Actually, a little bit rough. And let's explain how this happens in action, especially on a lower time frame. So let's do something like this. How do I do this perfectly? Oh, sorry, I'm getting. Who's trying to? Please bring my jacket. Yeah, sorry. One sec. Yeah, so basically you can get stuff like this where you get double wicks and then it just slides a little bit lower down. But if you get sort of resistance zone, double reversal and wick into the band, then it's a little bit more high confluence than just not having any support or resistance in. You can catch some semi-decent trades. That Scout Pro, I don't know if I've tweaked it to its maximum efficiency, to be honest. Because I used to use the old one and then they messed it up and then they brought it back, but I think they brought it back a little bit differently. So it just fires off way too many signals. Like you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all in that little space. It's just not. It's just too. It's just too much. You kind of want something like this, like 1, 2 on resistance. Okay, cool. Right down into the next one. But yeah. Anyway, any questions or anything you want me to look at quickly before I go? I must end it soon. ETH actually potentially looks interesting, but we actually haven't cleared that high. So very simple, like you need to hold this low now. This little 5 minute, if that goes, then it's gonna absolutely just rip. But this is probably like 1%, so if you're scalping, you could potentially even risk a 10x long with 1% stock. And then look for something like that. Or maybe even up to the daily. Shit, didn't know you're live. Yo, what's happening, Miana? You need to teach me about the tax code when I come back. When I come back, I'm coming back to London soon. I think it's gonna be next week, bro. So that's why the times are a little bit weird. But we're gonna be back to normal time, man. I like streaming like 11 a.m. because all the East Coasters can jump in, and the Europeans can wake up a little bit later. Seapool, why did you make it? Arrow's done well today. Seapool, good stream, Jack. Drop me, drop me a DM, bro. Um, see you later, bro. Have a good one. Seapool. C pool, yeah, it's not looking too bad, is it? Made a new high from there. It's not looking bad, but it's not looking good. So we did make a new low from this to there, but that was also we also bull dived massively. How did that even? Oh, okay, I guess it's from there. That makes sense. Put on AI. Okay, there's probably a Stuber, very local. It's actually getting caught. That was a really nice wick on that. Maybe a little bit lower. Right in here is potentially good. You don't want to you don't want to close below there. If you close below there, then that's a new low, and you're probably going to come up and make a lower high, and it's going to just be bye bye. Potentially doesn't look too bad though. I think that's going to do one more actually into there, into that AA6. In terms of the lower time frame, we've just bang on the 786. Just everything is probably going to test its daily, and then either probably do. I can see it doing one more, you know, and then maybe max bid. Because even if you're bidding down here, the risk is quite low to at least just test higher. We can test up here, we can test up here, and even if we don't make a new high and we've made a new low, it's at least you can just, yeah. Anyway. One more dump. One more dump. What else do you say? Aero. Aerodrome Finance. Yes. Oh, yeah, that is doing quite well, isn't it? What's happening with this then, hey? Hmm. So if you saw this off the lows, this is obviously going to be resistance. Came back down. That was a really nice bullish retest of this swing. So sometimes with price action, what you should do is you should turn auto charting tools off. Okay? And then just be like, okay, where's the swing? The swing's in there. Literally, this is the consolidation. Okay, that's going to be my target. We actually did bullishly backtest the top after we pumped, but when we're coming down, target's going to be there. Then you can turn it on and be like, okay, a bit of confluence there. I mean, that's the area. That's the right up to Q3. It's trying to hold May March. It's trying to. But yeah, it's that's actually looking interesting, to be fair, on the daily. Relatively interesting compared to the rest of the market. But yeah, I think it's some news with it. Oh, Coinbase, yeah, it's Coinbase's liquidity pool or something like that. Anyway, it is 6 though, so I actually have to run. I've got a little call. But yeah, I think we're gonna see maybe short-term relief, then maybe one more. But in general, it's it's looking like the shorts are printing at the moment. Definitely watch long to short ratio, and next week I might be less around because I'll probably be traveling home. But then we'll be 5 days a week. We'll be slamming out some short term, some low time frame price action as well, not just high time frame. And we'll get back to the normal one. Yes, sir. So I will see you guys maybe next week, maybe not. But yeah, back to normal soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.